Finally, after the 2-year wait, Fraymakers is finally here. If you don't know what Fraymakers is a platform fighting game featuring a cast of some of indie gaming's biggest icons. The goal of the game is simple. You and up to 4 players can get to fight on a platform arena where one of you will try to knock each other off the stage. If one of you goes out of bounds, you get KO'd and you lose a life. From its unique characters to its fast-paced and intense combat, Fraymakers is a game that stands out from the crowd. The game features an impressive roster of over 4 characters, each with their own set of unique moves and abilities. The characters are well designed though, and full of personality, as each one has their own playstyle. The video is going to be broken up into 4 sections, each talking about a certain aspect of the game. In the first section, we got visuals, second section, we got gameplay, third section, characters, and the fourth section is if you should buy the game at all. First thing we're going to talk about is the visuals. This game is vibrant. The UI compared to the last game, Super Smash Bros. 2, looks more and more appealing to the normal person than the dull dark interface of the Smash Bros. Clone. The buttons look inviting and easy to navigate, which thank God I don't want to spend years for looking stuff in the main menu. But with that, we have some issues on some places being a little lackluster in terms of design. For example, you go to online play and there's only 3 buttons. The characters are all drawn in a pixel art style, with high contrast and sharp lines. The backgrounds are also composed of pixel art with a variety of colors, shapes, and textures, which makes it a beautiful game to look at. The game also features a variety of stages, each with their own unique layout and environment. The stages are also drawn in a similar art style with a mix of 3D art and pixel art. The level of detail shown in this game so far is kinda worth the 2-year wait when this game was first announced. Now, some problems that I have with the visuals and UI is that some stuff is not actually really finished. For example, it's not really a start screen, it kinda just shows the 2 characters and then as soon as you get into the game, you're ready to fight. Another thing is when you end the match, there is no victory screen, you kinda just go back to character select. While the visuals look great, some stuff they put in looks like they added in as an afterthought before releasing the early access. Another big caveat of the visuals is some of the characters. Some of the characters don't have the full moveset, and when I say they don't have the full moveset, they don't have animations for the moveset. So, Octodad, for example, doesn't have a dash attack animation. He kinda has his sketch for that animation. I would say, oh, it's early access, some of the stuff will come later. It's still kind of disappointed that they released early access and they still haven't finished some of like the basic characters they were going to release with.
Now, my opinion on the visuals is nothing because I can't see colors. However, they do have all colorblind types, but it's not really helpful because it doesn't really change anything in the game.
Now, getting on to the gameplay and game modes, right, there is not much to do in this game. So far, you got CPU matches, either team battles and solo matches, or you got online play, which the online play has its own issues, and the CPU matches also have issues, right? But this is expected from an early access game, so bear with me. With the CPU matches, there's not much to do. Literally, there isn't really that much to do. In normal Smash games, there's a lot of customization when it comes to game modes. So if you want to play CPU matches with items or without items, you can do that. If you want to play matches with Final Smash or like a specific type of item, you can do that. But with Fraymakers, I don't think they have finalized any of the items yet. So currently, the only thing you can change is the amount of stocks you have and the amount of time you have. And then the rest is kind of just like team modes and stage hazards. There really isn't much to do in the CPU mode that beat up CPUs. There's nothing else. There's no story, there's no nothing. It's just beat up CPUs and that's it. Now, if you listen to the CPU side and you thought that was boring, now get ready for online. You just do the exact same thing, but just on an actual person. Though, the online mode does have its slew of issues. So far, we have reports from many players saying that they have freezing, crashing, desync errors, and just stuff like that when they're playing an online match. So if you do get this game, be wary that the online mode is not perfect yet. Though don't worry, because the developers have taken note of this and have released a statement saying that they will fix this as soon as possible. Ace, what do you think about the gameplay?
For me, it was really laggy. If you are like me and only use keyboard and mouse, then this game will be a lot more difficult to learn since you only use keyboard. You can also, however, use a controller. Now, we'll be moving on to the characters and we're going to tell you the strengths and weaknesses of each one.
The first character we'll be talking about is Octodad. Octodad is a little bit of a wild card in this game because a lot of his attacks reach far and wide, which makes him hard to fight against because you can't really get that close to him. While that might be his advantage, that's also his disadvantage because once you do get close to him, he doesn't have any attacks to actually help him get out of combos. So that is something to be wary of if you do play Octodad. Next character we're going to be talking about is Orcane. Orcane's a little bit of a trickster as his moves lets him set up traps on the battlefield. If you're playing against Orcane, you want to be careful of not setting off those traps as he will use those traps against you. Two ways to fight against an Orcane player is either to bait him out and beat him in his own mind games, or use a rushdown character such as Commander Video or Wellentaro to not let him get the chance to even set up his traps. The next character we're going to be talking about is Wellentaro. Wellentaro is one of my personal favorite characters because he's literally the human anti-air. So if any character is in the air, Wellentaro will reach them. One way to play against a Wellentaro player is to not be in the air at all and keep your playstyle to the ground. If you are playing against Wellentaro, two things you want to do is get them off the edge and then just use a bunch of attacks while they're in the air to either not let them get back to the edge or to spike them. And then finally, the last character is Commander Video. Commander Video is one of the fastest characters in the game, which means his rushdown strategy is very intense. One way to play against him is to use your shield a lot and make sure you bait him out for the perfect time to attack. If you're playing as Commander Video, what you want to do is rush them down. You want to overwhelm them so then they get into a defensive position. When they start using their shield, use a lot of moves to cross them up so then you can get behind their shield and keep attacking from there.
Now we are going to talk about if you should buy this game or not. Honestly, my opinion is if you are like me and you don't know this game very well, and you just saw that it released and that people have been waiting 2 years for this game to release, then I think you should save your money until they have completely finished the whole game. But if you do want it, but you want it for a cheaper price, buy it now.
But that's what Ace thinks. My view on the game is that this game for $20 is pretty worth the investment. You get to see a game grow and develop over time and eventually become something bigger. So I would say if you're pretty into fighting games and you want to see a game that will eventually grow and become maybe possibly one of your favorite games to play, I recommend spending the money now and see what happens. Now I have a message to all you guys who were hating the game on like the first day it came out. I want you guys to realize that Team Fray also had to make a game engine along with this game, because this game is not like a one game deal. It's like they have Fray Tools and Fraymakers. They had to make both of those in conjunction, and there's only 6 people working on this project. So I want you guys to give them some leniency because they're not like a big studio that's making this game. It's literally a group of like 6 dudes making this game. So I need y'all to chill out and just give them time that they need to fix the game and their bugs when they have time.
So to all you haters out there hating on this game, suck my dick, assholes.